Hey everybody, welcome back to Tim Travels. It's Terry, your host, coming to you from Prairie du Chien, Wisconsin. So let me tell you a little bit about this town. It is kind of, they kind of brand themselves or hold themselves out as the second oldest city in Wisconsin. And to give you an idea how old we're talking, in June of 1673, the French explorers Marquette and Joliet, you've heard those names before, that's where those names come from. Marquette and Joliet were French explorers. They came here and they met a man who was the local chief of the Fox Indians, and they started trading fur, and this town began to grow, and it's kind of where the Wisconsin River empties into the Mississippi, but it's south of the Iowa-Minnesota border, just to give you an idea. But anyway, how the town got its name, and if you know any French or ever took French in school or whatever, you know that the word Chien, C-H-I-E-N, that's how the locals say it, is really the French word chien, which means dog. And apparently that name came from this Indian chief whose name roughly translated into the French word chien, or dog. So way before there was Dog the Bounty Hunter, there was Dog the Fox Indian Chief, who was traded with the French. So this town's been here a long time, and it was the center of fur trading up until probably the late 1800s. So a couple of hundred years. And in fact, there were American industrialists who had fur warehouses here, and it wasn't until like desire for fur, I guess you'd say, kind of waned in Europe and other places, that it started to shrink. So that's a little bit about Prairie du Chien. I also went through Anamosa, Iowa today. And I got my Iowa shirt on because the Hawkeyes worked the Hoosiers yesterday. I actually didn't think it would be like that. I thought it would be a fairly contested game, but it wasn't even close. Anyway, so I went through Anamosa, Iowa today, and here's the funny thing: I've been all over Iowa. I've ridden Ragbri twice, but I had never been to Anamosa. And it turns out there's a couple cool things there. One is this, I think it's called the National Motorcycle Museum. Now, I didn't stop in there, but it's there. It's right by the highway. But also, there's a very famous artist from Anamosa. His name's Grant Wood. And you might not recognize the name, but you will recognize this piece of art that he did. That, of course, is American Gothic. It's, everybody's seen it. It's pretty famous. So anyway, that's what my day was like. And my delivery was at 3 p.m. So I get here about 2:54. And mind you, this is a load that's what I refer to. This is not necessarily how Prime would say it, but I refer to it as an internal load, meaning it's going from a place owned by a company to another place owned by that same company. And yet I didn't have, even though I was told to be here at 1500, I didn't have an appointment number. So it is now, what time is it? It is now after 1900, or right around 1900. So I've been here over 4 hours. I have very little hope. I have more hope of my hair coming back than I do of getting that appointment number tonight. And I'm not even sure I have any faith that it's coming tomorrow, since tomorrow's Labor Day. So I think there's a fairly good chance that I'm still going to be here on Tuesday morning. That's the bad news. The potential good news is that I might get paid for it. Get paid detention for it. So we'll have to wait and see. The other thing that this may do is, because I actually have a pre-plan to pick up a load in Illinois that I have to pick up by 1800 tomorrow, and that's a 2-stop load with the 90 in Lewiston, Maine. Now that pays really well, but I actually have connected with somebody that would like to be on my truck. That person has most of their TNT done, and so since the video I did yesterday, lots of people have reached out to me about being on my truck, and so this person would fit perfectly, and then maybe I could get them upgraded and get them into their own truck in time to maybe pick up a PSD student who reached out to me that's coming in early October to Prime. So I don't know exactly how that's going to work out. But if I'm still here on Tuesday morning anyway, then I can probably make this switch happen, which will be good for, I think it'll be good for everybody. It'll get somebody rolling on finishing up their TNT, get them back on the payroll too, because they've been home for like a week, I think, at least a week. And I won't get into any situation about how that happened, but they need a ride, basically. They need something to do. So I'm happy if I can help. So anyway, that's about it. Just to, I'm looking at, if you can see behind me, the bluffs behind me, that's the eastern bluff, and then of the Mississippi Valley here, and then the western bluff I can see, because I'm not even a mile from the river. In fact, I'm probably more like, I don't know, a third of a mile from the river. But anyway, I'll just be hanging out here in Prairie du Chien, and and I forgot to say, so the dog part and then Prairie that just means like Meadow of Dog. So like they attributed where he was to him. That's how the town got its name. So it was his land. And actually that's how the French kind of dealt with Native Americans back then. They just wanted a trading partner. They didn't want to like own where they lived and make them leave. Anyway, thanks for tuning in. I'll keep you updated, and yeah, wish me luck. Bye.